Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze crypto pairs. That is how each of the major cryptos are valued against each other. That is how many BTC can one ETH fetch, how many ETH can one BTC fetch, and so on. And the purpose of this forecast is to analyze now that Bitcoin dominance is close to 58% and ETH dominance at around 13%. That means together they hold between 70 and 77% of the market. If you add these two numbers together, you will find 71% of the total market is controlled by Bitcoin and ETH. And relatively speaking, the other altcoins, how they are have performed with respect to Bitcoin and ETH, if they are in process of bottoming out. Let's start with ETHBTC chart. This is the weekly price action or number of Bitcoins that one ETH can fetch. Back in September 2019, one ETH could only fetch about 0.016 BTC. Now, over the course of the bull run of 2020 and 2021, ETH outpaced Bitcoin and till about 2021 December, when one ETH could fetch about 0.8 BTC. We do have an opposite of this in terms of Bitcoin, how much one Bitcoin can fetch in terms of number of ETH. These are whole numbers because Bitcoin, one Bitcoin is of a higher value than one ETH. So back in 2021, end of 2021 over here, you can see one Bitcoin could fetch about 11.8 ETH. Now one Bitcoin fetches about 25 ETH. Almost Bitcoin's valuation in terms of ETH has doubled since 2021 ended. So about in 2022, 2023, and almost 3 years now, end of 2024. You can also see that in terms of the difference between Bitcoin and ETH market cap, almost 1 trillion gap. Bitcoin is at around 1.3 trillion and more than 1 trillion gap between Bitcoin's market cap and ETH's market cap. ETH is at around 296 billion. So if it were if Bitcoin were 1.296 trillion, then the difference between the market cap would have been 1 trillion. Now it's slightly higher than that. That means again, it wouldn't be too surprising that one Bitcoin is getting more valuable than one ETH. So one Bitcoin now fetching twice the number of ETH if you compare that with respect to 2021 to about today. So more than twice, and you can see that in terms of ETHBTC as well. The one of the most highly attention seeking chart over here in the market is how Bitcoin and ETH pair would go forward in terms of their journey in 2025. And there is evidence to see if Bitcoin ETH is close, ETH BTC is close to being bottoming out, what could the theoretical forecast look. We have trained this ETH BTC price action chart on a machine learning model called ARIMA, LSTM, and XGBoost, and these are the two scenarios forecasted by the model. The base case, if let's say there aren't any bullish narratives for ETH towards the end of the year of 2024, you can see that ETH right now, ETH BTC pair coming in at around 0.38 at the weekly average. Towards the end of the year, it could drop to about 0.0358. That means almost from here, almost a 10% drop till about end of year. And if in 2025 the bleed continues, the bottom could be at around 0.032. I know that is one of the range that many analysts are looking for, a bottoming pattern on this ETH BTC. So worthwhile analysis. If on the other hand Bitcoin stops taking the lead of the market and ETH starts to outperform Bitcoin, again, that is not most likely per many analysts in this year. Maybe in starting 2025, that scenario becomes more and more likely. So let's ignore the forecast till about 2025, when 2025 begins. Per this model, ETH could see in 2025 a valuation above 0.049 to about 0.055, and at that point, if that scenario were to pan out, again this is bullish for ETH. This yellow line is bullish for ETH, bearish for BTC. Again, as ETH outperforms BTC, again even if BTC increases in 2025 in its valuation on USD pair, ETH could far outshine BTC like it did starting January 2021. You can see over here when January 2021 began, which was the post-halving year for Bitcoin. ETH BTC was fairly lower than what it is today at 0.026, and not too long ago, from January to May, it grew by about 3x, from 0.26 to about 0.076. So if we were to look at that from BTC's perspective, number of ETH token, instead of looking at the yellow line, we are looking now at in the green line, which is again an opposite of this chart, ETHBTC to BTCETH. So 1 over that. So in that scenario, if let's say Ether starts outperforming BTC in 2025, the valuation right now, one Bitcoin fetches excess of 25 ETH. That could go down to between 15 ETH per BTC to about 17.5 ETH per BTC. This is the forecast by the machine learning based model. So the another Bitcoin pair which is of key interest is Solana. We can judge it on its Bitcoin pair as well as on its ETH pair on our website. Let's start with the Bitcoin pair. The Bitcoin pair for Solana, if you look at this chart and the chart of ETHBTC, there are striking similarities. So this is BTCETH, and this is, sorry, not this chart, the ETHBTC chart that we just discussed, and the SOLBTC chart. If we ignore the part till about September 2021, and let's say Sol started one market cycle after ETH, on an analysis of Sol instead of starting. So what essentially is 2018 for ETH is 2021 for Sol in terms of its BTC pair. The lower high structure on this is quite evident. So Sol is over here at around 0.002, again one order of magnitude lower than ETH, and you can see that on its USD pair as well. Ethereum is somewhere in thousands, where Sol is in hundreds. So you would imagine that on its Bitcoin pair, the valuation would be down by one order of magnitude. Again, over here, October 2024, if we were to kind of correlate with what ETHBTC did, let's say from July 2022 till October 2024 is about 1.5 years. So if we extrapolate that to January 2020 till about middle of 2022, so Sol is somewhere over here if we were to continue the analysis. So about May of 2022, and what lies ahead per this correlation or transitive property based model, if the hypothesis being that ETH and Sol are basically similar products, and they were released at different point in time, and based on when they were released, their valuation on ETH in terms of ETH would differ. So we, per this analysis, if you go forward, as Sol BTC is somewhere over here, the forecast that is of key interest over here becomes this green line. And we can check the opposite of that also on its ETH pair. So per this model, the forecast right now, the valuation is at around 0.0025, and essentially if the bull case for Bitcoin pans out like it did in the last quarter of 2020, so by that I mean over here, if we go and check Bitcoin USD and its own price action towards the end of 2020, there was a parabolic move in the last quarter of 2020 when the price action went from about 12k to about 40k towards the end of the year. So if BTC witnesses that, and again if altcoins don't follow suit with Bitcoin, then SOLBTC could drop almost till the end of year, from the current valuation of 2.5 to about 1.7. That would be a 30% drop in the valuation of SOLBTC. That is one level to watch. If on the other hand Sol continues to maintain the relative strength against Bitcoin, then the valuation could rise at a future point at around 0.0031. That is about a 25% gain from the current position. So, and what it could look like is, in terms of if we were to compare, again go back to the ETHBTC chart and compare, let's say there is this V-shaped drop and again a higher high, that would be corresponding to Sol making some sort of a bottom in end of 2020, and then in the first half of 2021, and in the first half of 2025, or let's say towards the middle of 2025, making another higher high on BTC, and then again to when the bull market of 2025 kind of gets over, Bitcoin starts claiming more of the market share than Sol does, like it did with ETHBTC pair. So that's another way to analyze. The last pair that we'll be discussing on the video is the ADA Bitcoin pair, which is again very close to the bottom. You can see the current valuation. If we look at 2017 bottom, 2019 bottom, and now 2024 bottom, the 498 Satoshi, and then the 400 Satoshi, and again in 2017 at around 400 Satoshi. Price of ADA in terms of Bitcoin divided by Bitcoin is coming close to this valuation. Now it could fall to this as low as this pink line. The green line is if we enter a bear market again. Even if we do that, the ADA BTC pair has already suffered a lot. Again, there is no such thing as a sure thing, but per this model, the low on the ADA BTC pair could be between 424 Satoshis and 479 Satoshis. Right now it's at around 498 Satoshis. If on the other hand, again, as we move towards 2025 and the altcoins start performing decently, then the price action in terms of Satoshis on ADA BTC pair could be between 753 sats to about 979 sats between the first week of January and end of March of 2025. So that's the pair. And to support this argument, again this valuation argument, there are two market structure similarities. The first is the peak valley analysis of the crypto market. If you look at what happened towards the beginning of 2021, this is a normalized risk score between 0 and 1. As 2021 began, the risk quite increased from less than 7% risk during the initial months of 2021 to about 100% risk in first 5 months of 2021 itself. Right now the risk levels are at around 0.2 again, close to a lower end of the risk spectrum. Definitely moderate risk levels are being witnessed, but there is further more room for the risk to increase. And when Bitcoin rose to about 73k back then, that the risk level was around only 0.37. That is because this considers top 100 crypto by market cap, and most of the rallying share was taken by Bitcoin. And the evidence to that is that even though the risk levels over here was 0.37 for the wider market, for Bitcoin though the risk levels were at around 0.92 in March of 2022. March of 2024. We did go back to a lower risk regimen not too long ago, from March to about August of 2024, back when the risk were at 0.14, 14% risk, 86% reward. And what is curious right now is, since September, the Bitcoin's risk levels are higher than ETH's risk level, and that is a monumental phase of the market. It usually lasts for only a few months, where you can see over towards the bottom. Let's draw a better chart over here. This is where the bottoms occurred in the last bear market. Let's focus on this. Again, you can see over here in June 2021, even during the bear market, in the middle of the bull market of 2021, you could see that ETH risk was higher than BTC risk. Again, there are only a few instances where ETH risk is lower than BTC. You have to go back to the last bear market of 28 between 2018 and 2020. Over here you can see most of the time ETH risk is higher than BTC risk. Only a handful instances where September 12th of 2018, and then again March 29th of 2018. And if you compare that with March and September of 2018, you can see September of 2018 where ETH had its monumental drop on its USD pair, as well as on its BTC pair. You can see over here, let's focus on ETHBTC and look at September 2018 as an example. Over here again made a major low on the Bitcoin ETH pair, and since then, even though the pair had bled a lot from 0.03 to about almost a half of valuation of that trend in September of 2019, you could see that over here, if we go back to the SMA analysis in September of 2019, the ETH risk and the BTC risk came really close, and there were instances where Bitcoin was slightly higher risk than ETH at the first week of September of 2019. Again, those are some of the key time periods to look for in the market when ETH risk is lower than BTC risk. One could make a case that is when altcoins become more and more lucrative. So again, this is the phase that we are in right now. So with this, I would like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Also give this video a like, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.